Welcome back to MLive's Dungeon of Doom podcast. We've got another mailbag episode for you on Thursday, December 18th. I'm Ben Raven. He is Kory Woods.
What's going on?
Hey, big week. 2 games in 7 days as of today. Another one of those. Feels like we've been living in that for a while, but Lions host the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know the Steelers aren't the world killers that the Rams were that we just saw, but this is an 8-6 team in the playoff hunt, leading their division, and they got a lot to play for too, man.
Look, I don't care about any records. I don't care about anything. The boogeyman is coming back to Ford Field. So we can put all out of the way. This is probably Aaron Rodgers. I believe this is his last year, right? With the way it's looking.
Apparently. Yeah.
But this could be Aaron Rodgers' final time in Ford Field. And I don't care. Like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I don't care about records. That guy should frighten every Lions fan.
I mean, he is just one of those guys that just for what he's done to this franchise and how intertwined his career is with the Lions, and when his Hall of Fame highlight tape is playing someday, how many Lions highlights are going to be on that tape. And, I mean, he's leading a team that's ahead in their division. He's getting the ball out quicker than any primary starting quarterback in the league per next-gen stats. I mean, we just talked to Calvin Shepard, and it's like, he's not trying to go on the field, and he's getting that ball out quick. And so, it is a unique challenge because they've got some interesting playmakers. I mean, DK Metcalf, based on the last month of how this past defense has looked, should be a little scary there. I know the Steelers aren't known for explosion, but they do have an explosive wide receiver against a team that's given up more explosive plays in the last month than anybody. So there are things to do, and it's another physical bully ball team, and the Lions just kind of struggled with one of those last week, and the Steelers do that better than most, man.
Yeah, so that's pretty concerning. But, again, You don't really want to hang your hat on the Lions going back and forth between these wins and losses, saying like, oh, well, they lost last week. That's guaranteed they're going to win this week. I don't think that's something that you can put your money on. But having said that, the Lions have shown a tendency to bounce back better than most. So I would hang my hat on the fact that they know how to bounce back. They know that their backs are against the wall, and that essentially if they lose this game, it's pretty much a wrap on the postseason for them.
Yeah. That's where it is right now. You got to go 3-0. I mean, I think if they go 3-0, the chances are 94%. So you even need a smidgen of help to go when you go 3-0 with the hole they've dug. But much like Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, I'm sick and tired of talking about the 15-game streak after the wins and losses.
It's because I always go back to what Penei Sewell said after that Giants win. This is not sustainable for us if we're talking about making the playoffs and doing something significant.
It's not. Like, it's a cool record and great, but it's a lot cooler and a lot more positive when you haven't been alternating wins and losses for the last 11 weeks. So, yeah, a lot of stat padding there. But no, it's a cool record. It does speak to their ability to bounce back, but we're talking about going 1-1 for 11 weeks.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
No, but we got a mailbag podcast for you today. We got a couple voice memos. We got a lot of great written questions. And as always, if we don't get to your written questions, we find a way to repackage those. We'll use them in next week's pod. We'll use them after a game. We'll use them in our newsletter, The Weekly Roar. So if you do not hear your question asked on the podcast, apologies. Thank you.
You are not forgotten.
You are not forgotten. We're still going to find a way to get back to you. I've been getting better at DMing people when I don't get their question, just to be like, hey, appreciate you. Keep the questions coming. We kind of go with the flow, and we got 4 voice memos this week. Thank you. Use that dungeonofdoom at MLive.com email address, 24/7, 365. If something's on your mind, send it in, record yourself, write it up, whatever. You know where to find us on social media, whatever apps you're on. But we're going to get right into it, and we're going to go with our Doomer of the Week, Matthew Booze.
Hello, Kory Woods Raven. This is Matthew from Sanford, Florida. Should the Lions win one of the remaining 3 games, they will finish with a winning record for the 4th consecutive season. Win 2 of those 3 games, they will finish with double-digit victories for the 3rd consecutive season. Now, no peeking. When was the last time the Lions did either of those things?
Oh, wow.
Correct. If your answer was never, not once, not one single time in the history of all time. So, Lions fans, I know you want more. I appreciate it. I'm a Lions fan. but I know what consecutive suck feels like. So can we please, just in the spirit of the season, take some joy out of the fact that our team wins more than it loses? To help it win more, with Laporta out, I want Gibbs and Montgomery on the field at the same time. So whose do I have to get that to happen?
All right. Wow.
That went totally left.
What the hell? Okay. Have fun bleeping out a voice memo. I cannot believe you finished the question that way. Holy crap. He answered the first part of his own question. I was gonna be like, it's gotta be the 50s. I don't even know if they played as many games back then to do that. So Jesus. All right, so thankfully, I just looked up the Gibbs and Montgomery shared snaps. I knew it was going to be asked. All right, the Lions had 62 plays last week. They had 6 plays with Gibbs and Montgomery on the field at the same time. 5 of those were passing plays. They went 3 for 5. The only rush was the Montgomery Wildcat touchdown run. I think you should expect to see 6 to 10 snaps with Gibbs and Montgomery on the field at the same time. It's about getting your best players on the field. It's about finding life without Sam Laporta. And for all the talk about getting Montgomery more action and touches, I mean, I think this is the best way to do it, because while I appreciate David Montgomery and think he's a great running back and think he would probably start for most teams around the league, the Lions have a bona fide superstar, potentially the best running back in the NFL, and I don't want Gibbs coming off the field. And if the way to get Montgomery more snaps and more touches and to feel more involved in the offense is getting him out there in those 2 back looks with Gibbs in the slot, motioning, whatever, I'm all for it. Get your best players on the field.
I thought that was what we were going to get at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that's what they pretty much talked about. So the fact that we have not seen a lot of that was pretty alarming. Like, let me just go through the first 14 games of last season, because we know Gibbs did not play the last 3 games.
Yep.
Their carries were a digit off.
Yeah.
Gibbs had 186. Montgomery had 185. Right now, through the 14 games, it was a 64 carry difference.
Yeah.
And that's not ideal. That's not ideal for the Lions. And I know you can't have both of them out there, because I mean, when you saw the way that Gibbs finished last season, it's like, okay, we knew the guy was good. This guy can literally be the best back in the league. So it's like it's hard to bottle up the best back in the league.
Exactly.
And because he gives you, as great as Montgomery is, Gibbs gives you the best chance of winning games when he's on the field more. But having said that, they have to continue to figure out ways to get him in there more involved and take some of the spells off of Jahmyr, and kind of like give the defenses different looks, because again, Montgomery's a different type of back.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've had that they kind of use in their wins, but it's kind of funny, they don't use in their losses. They've been using Montgomery a lot in those short yard situations to pick up some of those hard yards. So, I mean, I don't know how they figure it out, but I don't know if maybe some of the play of the offensive line and the run blocking may have something to do with it. But they got to figure something out.
Yeah, and I would say this: we haven't really seen the Lions try to wear a defense down and keep an offense off the field since like that Baltimore game.
Yeah,
and that was a big David Montgomery game. I think the one change that would make sense to me without cutting into Gibbs' share drastically is we used to see Montgomery on the first drive of games a lot.
That's and I was loving that. It was a tone setter.
Let me punch you in the face, and then Gibbs takes over. I think that should be on the table. Now you'll freak the fantasy people out. Oh, Gibbs isn't starting. Shut up. He's still gonna just shut up. I'm a fantasy guy too. But yeah, they're coming. They're just wait 5 minutes. But I think that's something that they could explore, and it's something that they have gone away with. You know, when you need a drive to keep an offense off the field, like last week's game against the Rams, like the Ravens game that worked. Monty's that guy. Gibbs is awesome. Gibbs is elite. There's a lot of boomer bust in his rushing attack. And when he's busting, get Monty on the field a little more. Wear him down. Give him they're different running backs. Give them a different look. You give them Montgomery for a little bit, then you bring in Gibbs, and it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. Yeah. Just give them different looks, because not saying that Gibbs does not have any trucking power.
Yeah.
We know that he does. He does. It's just that I think that Montgomery is, like you said, the guy that can wear defenses down, because he's just so hard to bring down. Yeah. He's more so, Gibbs is more so the guy, like, it's hard to catch him in space.
Yeah.
Montgomery's more so the guy, like, once he hits you in the mouth, it's hard to bring him down to the ground.
Can't believe I gave Doomer of the Week to such a profanity-laced, dirty question.
Yeah, I'm
Have fun with that one, Patrick. They do it different down in frickin' Florida, apparently.
Florida, man.
All right, we're switching to another Tampa, Florida man. A written question to the email. He's originally from Granville, Michigan. We got James here. He's thinking about how Brad Holmes and this roster has evolved. It's a long one. Bear with me. Quote unquote, when this regime first arrived, we needed bodies and players who could actually make a difference. Holmes and his staff did an excellent job doing that, getting guys like Raymond, Reynolds, and others, and those players helped change the culture and keep us competitive. But now the roster has matured and the league has adjusted to the Lions' talent level. That's where I start to wonder if we've become too loyal to some of those early our guys instead of moving on and upgrading when the time was right. Don't get me wrong, I like Leaf, Cleve Raymond, and I understand the idea behind bringing in projects, but at times it feels like we're adding developmental players instead of directly replacing contributors who were studs in 2021. Those players mattered on a team that frankly wasn't very talented overall. Now as injuries pile up, the lack of proven depth really shows. Just curious your thoughts. Love the show. Feels like I'm talking to the guys about football when I listen. Love to hear that, James. Good question. This is we've covered this a couple times. This was a good framing of the question. There's not a lot of those like 2021 like hero guys left. I mean, I guess Khalif is the guy that comes to mind, but he's a two-time All-Pro punt returner.
Yeah, for me, Leaf is just a guy that I don't think that's a guy that they've been overly loyal to. I think that's a guy that has warranted his keep here, because every time that his number has been called, whether it's been on special teams, whether it's been in the offense, he's stepped up. And you just need one of those type of guys on the roster. Not a guy that's going to just maybe take the top off of defenses, but he's going to be out there and get the tough yards and do what is necessary to earn his keep. So, every guy's not going to be the elite of the elite, but I think that's a guy that I understand what he's saying.
I do too.
I just don't think that Leaf would fit that mold for me.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, that's a two-time All-Pro punt returner. We've seen what he can do in that phase. You are seeing his offensive role, just with the injury, kind of go down a little bit. We're talking about a wide receiver 3, a wide receiver 4 gadget guy, total team culture guy, the poster boy for taking advantage of the land of opportunity in 2021. So I get what you're saying there, but there's not a lot of those guys left. So, and I don't have an issue with Raymond. He is in the final year of his deal. Who knows? Maybe he goes and cashes in elsewhere for a bigger offensive role with Tesla continuing to grow and J-Mo and St. Brown being the focus of the passing attack. But I think he loves it here. I think the Lions love him being here. And I think like that is a culture, locker room type of guy. And, maybe he's not going to move the needle on offense as much as you'd like. But I also don't think he's going to break the bank with any deal if he comes back.
Absolutely. And also, too, one thing that is not going to show up in the box score per se is the mentorship that he's had with Jameson Williams and, even St. Brown to a degree. I mean, those are guys that after every practice, you can see them working with each other during training camp. I mean, what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
And then with J-Mo, he's spoken about how Leaf has been a big help to him. So, I think this is one of those guys you keep around.
Yeah. I'm going to read another mailbag. You get John Knowlton's voice memo ready to play on your phone, and then we'll do that after this one. We've got Trent from Belding, Michigan. How dare a Belding man send a message to a Greenville man? Just kidding, but that's our crosstown rivals. Trent will get it. Trent wants to know, as I see it, the Lions will need to significantly upgrade or stabilize at least 6 positions going into next season. He's got number 1, center. Number 2, offensive tackle. In parentheses, he writes, I am convinced that Decker will retire after the season. 3, we've got edge. 4, we've got defensive tackle. 5, we've got free safety. And 6, we've got strong safety. He says, giving up 2 third-round picks to draft a wide receiver last year is looking more and more dubious when I look at the roster overhaul the Lions need to complete this offseason. Any thoughts on what I presented here? Any reassurances to talk a fan like me away from the edge of the cliff? Thank you both. Listen, man, I know this has been a tough, weird, challenging season. It's been the most roller coastery of roller coaster rides. This offense is still elite of the elite, even with the offensive line problems, even with the run game inconsistency. Goff, St. Brown, and J-Mo have been absolutely cooking with gas since Campbell took over offensive play calling. And I know there's been some questions about offensive play calling. The Lions are averaging 31.5 points per game and an NFL leading 6.8 yards per play since Dan Campbell took over as Lions play caller. That's good. That's me talking you off the ledge. Now, in terms of what you've just presented here, the only thing I will disagree with on your list, I would get defensive tackle out of there because I really think Tyleik Williams is going to – I know Tyleik doesn't make the splash plays. I think that's a really good run-stopping defensive tackle. Your DJ Reader replacement, if this is the end of his run in Detroit. I think Aleem will be better with a full offseason. I think Roy Lopez will be back. I think he's been great. I'm not worried about D-tackle, to be honest with you. Center, agreed. I'm completely fine with that being number one. I'd probably put edge number 2, tackle number 3, because we'll see about Taylor Decker.
Yeah.
I think he really wants to retire with a Super Bowl title. We'll see. I can't speak to what he's going through this season because it's a lot, but, it does sound like that's a thought he'll tackle. But safety, 100%. Kirby Joseph's knee, terrifying. Brian Branch's Achilles, giant question mark. You need to get some depth there.
And since we're taking tackle out, because that was the one that stuck out to me like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I think they've done well there.
I would actually put quarterback in there because, and the reason I say that is we don't know what's going to happen with Amik Robertson this offseason.
Yeah, free agent.
We don't know. And honestly, I have my concerns about Rakestraw at this point because it's basically been about 2 years with little ROI.
A lot of injuries.
Yeah, so I think I don't think that's a position that you have to go spend high draft capital on, but I do think it's one where you turn to free agency and see, okay, who is out there?
Yeah.
Let DJ Reed, I still think he's good, but I just think right now for this season, the hamstring is going to be what it's going to be. Terrion Arnold, before he got injured, again, I think you start to see him turn the corner. So I think just in the free agency, go see what that cornerback mark, that veteran cornerback market is looking like, and bring somebody in there. That's the position I would add to that list.
I like it. I'd like to see them get a little length and size at corner too. Yeah. But I would feel, and you should feel good if Reed and Arnold are your CB1 and CB2 as expected next season. I know a lot has been said about Arnold, but his ability to recover and play better down the stretch has been nice. He's been better. He gets credit for.
Yeah, he just got to stay healthy. He's had some unfortunate situations pop up, but he's been less handsy, and I just think that he's starting to turn the corner. He just unfortunately just couldn't. His body couldn't hold up this season.
Yeah. We're going to do one more written one before I get that next voice memo. We got Elijah Simerson in Cadillac, Michigan, the home of my family and parents. That's right. I love it. However this season ends, playoffs or not, Holmes is going to be on the hot seat. No, he's not. For his "we're good" comments. Also, going to take a pause here.
I answered that too in the newsletter.
Brad Holmes did not say the "we're good" comments.
He did not.
I guess I didn't realize how far that got out of control on social media. That was Dan Campbell answering a question about Zadarius Smith on 97.1 The Ticket 3 months ago. It was still said by one of the two guys in charge. Yep. So use your "we're good" memes away, but it was not Brad Holmes. It was Dan Campbell. Just let's clean that up. Yeah. Let's clean that up. But he's talking the comments regarding the pass rush earlier this year that they didn't think they needed Zadarius Smith. We're good. I got Levi. We got pass. Nope, you don't. Do we need something as drastic as gutting the edge rusher depth and starting over? Do you think we'll make significant changes to the drafting personnel strategy or stick to their guns? I really am convinced they're going to stick to their guns. They seem fixated on getting a pocket crusher bully like a Davenport or an Anzarike or an Elquidin Muhammad on the other side of Hutchinson. You guys have seen my mocks for the last 4 years. Add a little speed to that room. I don't think it would hurt. I don't think it would hurt to have a switch hitter off the bench that gives you a different flavor that can help make plays on their own and not just be there to create plays for someone else. But, and this is the one thing you guys could knock the lines of, they are kind of it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. They know what they want. They know what they need. They don't really get too flexible on it. Like James Houston, not versatile enough. See you later, pal. Man, you could have found uses for that. So what do you think, Kory?
I actually made a Facebook post about this that caught more fire than I anticipated.
Classic.
But here's my thing, and I even said this in the post. Brad Holmes is not anywhere remotely on the hot seat.
Hell no.
Because
hell no.
Because if you look at where this team was when he got here, and
go back to Matthew's question,
and where they're at right now, you don't want to really go back to find out what life is like without this guy in the building. What you would hope for him is to be able to recognize that, hey, the philosophy, the approach that I had to adding talent to this team coming into the season did not work. I need to go back to the drawing board and not tear it all down, but maybe tweak my approach, have some flexibility in how I view things as an approach to adding talent to this team. Because bringing guys in that have a checkered injury history, drafting guys that if they get injured during rookie minicamp or training camp, so be it. Yes. But drafting guys that you know are not going to be ready for camp, or that's got to stop. No more project picks.
No more trading picks for project picks. Yes.
Get guys in here that are going to that are going to be ready to either start or at least be quality depth where you're not trying to grab guys off of the street or poach practice squad players, guys that you already have drafted and they are in your system and know what is expected of them and they're able to contribute.
Yeah. Tweak what you've been doing just a little bit to knowing where your freaking roster is and what the expectations are. You don't have 10 open spots for 10 Giovanni Manus and Vakis and stuff. And just
because even with the bad approach this season, they could still sneak in the playoffs. So that's why I said tweak your approach. Don't tear it all down because what you've done is working.
I don't want anyone to say the words hot seat about anyone running this. Stop it. I know this season's been tough.
We're far. I think we're so far away from hot seat. It's just
we're like 7 years away from mentioning those words. Like seriously. Like I know this has been frustrating, but like don't go there. Don't make us go there. I appreciate the question. Go Vikings. Cadillac Vikings, not the Minnesota variety. That was for the Cadillac question asker. But let's hear from John Knowlton on that voice memo, Kory. We got a couple more of those to get through.
What up, Doe? It's John Knowlton from Kalamazoo. Hey, I live in Bronco territory, but I'm a Chip. Fire up. Hey, question about the Calvin Johnson rule. I'm very confused about what constitutes a catch, especially after that supposed touchdown by Parkinson. The refs took time to do a video review, and the excuse they came back with was that he had possession and then he lost possession, apparently when his knee went down at the 1, and then he regained possession in the end zone. I don't understand. Can you help a brother out?
I don't know.
I don't know anymore.
I don't know anymore either because I was kind of dreading this question this week just because I kept watching that replay and having a different opinion on it like every single time. The only feedback Dan Campbell got was they said he caught it. That was the call stands. The Lions said they did reach out to the league for further explanation. We have not heard the results of that reach out at this point. It's weird, man. It really is. Because there's moments where I'm like, wait, he didn't catch that. Wait, he's in. Wait, no, he's down. Wait, I don't know. Because you've made this so confusing.
Please listen to what I'm about to say in fully before you jump off the end. I'm not saying that there is any type of conspiracy theory with the Lions and the NFL officials or the league office. But this year, there has been so much confusion regarding plays or situations with them that it's just pretty alarming.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, maybe it's coincidental. Maybe it really is coincidental. It's just a lot. And this is the latest one of where I'm looking and I'm like, oh, his knee was down. Okay, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I just don't know what to make of it anymore. I'm not trying to start any type of fire or anything like that. It's just I'm trying to figure out how do the Lions always find themselves in these situations, whether it's their fault or not? As far as with the trick play with Goff and the against the Chiefs, but just it's just like it's always something.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, John. We're confused too.
Yeah.
I
just don't get it.
All right. You fire up Raymond Nuznoff while I read off Jerry Taylor's question here. Jerry, haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing all right. He wants to know, if the Lions fail to make the playoffs, what changes, if any, do you see on the horizon? Maybe a different offensive coordinator? Yeah, I think that'll be discussed just because of what happened this year. I think I hinted to it last week. I'm kind of on the side of, if Dan Campbell wants to replace John Morton or not, that's his choice. I want Dan to have a full offseason where he knows he's the play caller. He hasn't had that yet. I'd like to see that happen. Maybe that changes what they do at offensive coordinator or not, because a guy like, I'm just throwing out a name here, a guy like Brian Daboll is probably going to want to call the plays wherever he goes. So I just think, let Dan have a full offseason knowing he's a play caller. Let him work on that. Let him get with Goff. Let him build that Ben Johnson, Jared Goff rapport as the play caller. I think that could work out well. I just read that stat earlier. They lead the league in yards per play and points per game since Campbell took over play calling. There's something there. He has a nice touch with the passing attack. Yes, the ground game could use some whatever you want to say. I think the offensive line needs to get better. When people ask about the run game, it's like, yeah, Monty could help in certain spots. Gibbs could be a little more consistent in certain spots, but I really just go back to the offensive line. But, yeah, the Lions are in that rare territory of flirting with missing the playoffs where I don't think wholesale changes are really coming, other than a tweaked approach to the offseason maybe.
I'm on board with the idea of Dan Campbell having the full offseason as the play caller.
Yeah.
Because
I'm there.
I saw that once everything stabilized, he really had a pulse of the offense, and we started to see things get unlocked, like Jameson Williams got unlocked big time, and I just think that if they had better, which is kind of crazy to say with them as many points as they scored, if they had better offensive line play, they might have put up even more points.
100%.
So, which is kind of wild to say.
Lead the league in points.
Yeah, they could have had more. But if they do decide to, Dan decides that he does not want to be the play caller, I think they do have to go in a different direction. Not just because John Morton necessarily did anything wrong per se, but I just don't see, and again, I've said it before, I don't see how you remove that responsibility from him.
No.
You see how well this is performed, and then you give it back to him. I think you just have to go maybe in a different direction. Maybe you do go get maybe not a Brian Daboll, because you said he'll probably want to call the plays, but get another offensive coordinator who helps with the game plan throughout the week, and Dan still calls the plays like he's doing it right now. Or I think you said it, or somebody said it, maybe you promote Scotty Montgomery to OC.
And just have,
and still have Dan call the plays. I just think that, but the only thing I would say about that would kind of concern me about Dan staying the play caller would be, does he have too much on his plate? Mm-hmm. That would be it.
And that's why I think the offseason could help with that.
Yeah.
Because then you can really slow things down.
Because it did happen mid-season.
Week 10. I think it happened in week 9 or 8.
Yeah.
And so, I think that would be beneficial. I'm just saying it right now. I would not be shocked to see John Morton stay on. Just what he does for the passing attack and the fact that if Dan's going to call the plays, let's hear what Raymond Nuznoff's got to say. Our good buddy Raymond. He could be Doomer of the Week every week.
Hello, Ben and Kory. This is Raymond Nuznoff. I'm a pretty pessimistic fan. I don't think the Lions are making the playoffs, which probably means Jared Goff is not very happy with me. Anyway, I think the Lions will pick anywhere from 14 to 18 in the NFL draft. So before Mel Kiper and his 10 cans of hairspray hairdo chimes in on the TV with his can't-miss prospect that should go in the top 5, only to drop to the 5th round and have a whole week's worth of TV coverage questioning why the prospect fell so far in the draft, who are some prospects that we should keep an eye on during bowl season?
Oh, that's great.
That's pretty fun. This is it's weird to say that it's unknown territory, but it is unknown territory because we haven't had to care about the NFL draft in a while. And I don't know. There's not a Shedeur Sanders in this year's draft where it's like, all right, this is a first round guy. We're going to cover him back to front to back and back again. I'll just say the one prospect I'm in love with is Caden Proctor, the offensive lineman from Alabama. I think you couldn't go wrong there. And if he falls to wherever the hell the Lions are, I think I just had the Tankathon. The Lions, we had a question about draft slot too. The Lions are currently projected to pick 17th in the draft. If they win out, that'll drop to, the familiar early 20s. They lose a couple of games, they could stick between 14 and 18, like you said. I'm on board with the offensive tackle. I got to dig more into the prospects. When you're in the playoff hunt, the draft is at the furthest thing from your mind. That's for after the season, going into the combine and figuring. But Caden Proctor is the guy that really jumps off the page to me. You'll see him in the playoff.
Yeah, I was about to say I was going to lean on you for this one because I have not even remotely thought about the draft so far. I've been so focused on.
That's a good thing, Lions fans.
Yeah, I've been so focused on okay, looking up who they're going to be playing week to week because right now they're still in this playoff hunt, and then immediately after once the season starts, okay, then I was going to start shifting toward my my draft coverage. So I don't have a name off the top of the head because I want to see how this plays out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's easy. I'm looking at all the edge rushers and just like, oh yeah, that guy. The Lions love, like I said, they love the big, stocky guys on the other side of Hutchinson. I'd love for him to take a speed guy. I was all about Chop Robinson a couple years ago. I was all about Ezeraku last year, who's playing pretty well this season. I think Clemson's T.J. Parker is the guy I've seen the most this year that I like. But yeah, we'll get back to you on that one. Good question. I appreciate it. Let's fire up that last voice memo and then get a couple more and get out of here.
I believe it's Mike Macheski.
Yeah. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Ben and Kory. Mike in Boston here. Wanted to throw a fun one at you guys this week. So I'm a big hoops guy, and sometimes I'm watching the Pistons. I see Isaiah Stewart out on the floor. I'm like, man, we could use his help on the offensive line. So my question for you is if you could take one player from this current Pistons team and recruit them to help out the Lions in these last 3 games, which player are you taking and what position are you putting them in? Thanks, guys.
You just said it. Isaiah Stewart, tight end, defensive end, play both sides of the field, set the edge, and add a little athleticism to the passing game.
I like Isaiah Stewart also for the simple reason of this. He's been at the Lions training camp several times, and for those who do not know, I was covering the Pistons and the Lions both for MLive in a hybrid role. And this current iteration you see of the Pistons, they adopted that mentality that they're playing with right now from the Lions. And it's not me just kind of thinking that. Isaiah Stewart and players have said that they've adopted this grit mentality that they have from the Lions. So Isaiah Stewart would definitely be a guy, but because Ben said that I'm going to go in a different direction, I'm going to go with Jalen Duren. Yeah. I don't know where I'll put him at. Maybe linebacker. But when you see that dude in person, his physique, how strong he is, I would just be scared of that. Imagine being a running back coming through the gap, and then that guy is right there.
I would love to see a 7-footer play in the NFL so bad.
Oh my God, that would just be frightening. So I'm gonna go with Jalen Duren. If I could throw an honorable mention in there just because of how scrappy he is, I would put him at wide receiver or safety. Ron Holland.
I love it. That's a good one too. I think I've tweeted a photo of Isaiah Stewart every time he's come to Lions training camp. I'm like, can that dude set an edge? I'd love to see him. That's a good one. Great on the voice memos. Please, I beg of thee, send voice memos and written questions 24/7, 365. dungeonofdoom at MLive.com. We're going to get a couple more out of here. We got John Morton knocking on the door. So look at all these questions we didn't get to this week. But you guys brought it this week. We've answered a couple of these. Let's get one from our guy, New Millennium here. What does the Achilles tear do to Brian Branch in financial terms? Is there a chance he might not stay with the Lions? Does that seal that decision, make him cheaper? I think Brian Branch is here to stay. He is entering a contract year, but I think there's a realistic possibility that both sides kick the tire down the road. Maybe it's a 1-year deal to see how he responds. I mean, I don't know what that would be. I would have to imagine it starts at $10 million for someone like Branch, but like just a 1-year deal, incentivize him, see how he is, buy yourself time. But I think Branch is here to stay. I really do. For the long term, I do think this could be cheaper short term. And then if he comes back and makes his money, they're going to give it to him.
Definitely agree with the short-term deal, because if it were an ACL, again, with the way that medicine and technology and recovery has advanced over the years, ACL injuries are a lot easier to kind of like come back from, regain your speed, regain your mobility. But obviously, Branch does not have an ACL injury. He has an Achilles. And that one is a bit more concerning for me. So I would do the short-term deal just to see how he looks out there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he's out there playing like his normal self, or let's just say
figure it out,
85%, 90%, figure it out.
Yep.
Anything lower than that, you might have some tough conversations to have.
Yeah. I'll take this quick one from Chase Walker. What's the time bill on the return of Christian Mahogany? Kind of sounds like it's going to be this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, even last week, I thought he would have kind of came back, but Dan didn't want to rush him out there. But Christian Mahogany, he sounds like he's ready to go. I mean, no need to really kind of like speak to, make it more than what it is.
Nope. He returned last week. They thought he looked good. They're going to see how he responds to 2 full practices on Thursday and Friday. If it's not Sunday, I would expect him there on Christmas, which is somehow in 7 days from now. Jeez. The schedule's been crazy the last month, guys.
Wait a minute.
No. Yeah. 7 days from now, the Lions play the Vikings in Minnesota. And 7 days from now, it's Christmas.
I have not done a lick of shopping.
And 6 days from now, it's my birthday. So I expect a lot of birthday messages to the Dungeon of Doom at MLive.com. No, that's good. Here's a fun one. KT, I believe this is one you grabbed. What's your favorite part of the job, Kory?
Man, you know what? My favorite part of the job is honestly just telling stories.
Yeah.
That's really it. I mean, when we get in front of these players, we have the opportunity that honestly some fans wish they had.
Yeah. Oh, so many. Yeah.
Be able to get out there and get their perspective on things, what they're seeing on the field. And my job and your job is to just frame that in a way that they understand and just tell the story.
Yeah. My favorite part of the job is that I'm literally living my childhood dream.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to do this job. I was an only child. My parents would throw a newspaper or TV in front of me, and I was either watching SportsCenter or reading the Grand Rapids Press. I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and I pinch myself sometimes. When you get in these stretches of so many Thursday games and primetime games, you get tired. You just kind of call home or talk to a friend and realize that what you're doing is freaking cool. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, somebody brought this up a couple of days ago. I can't remember, but that was like, the one thing about my job is I'll get home and I'll be like, man, today was a lot. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I don't go home and be like, crap, I'm sick of my job.
No, absolutely not. No, that's 100% real. Like, even when you get tired and you're in week 16, you're going this long, it's like, I work with my friends. I cover the Detroit Lions at like the greatest stretch in franchise history since the 1950s. Like, come on. We're going to get out of here. I see multiple questions that we could use in the next couple of weeks. Phil, I got you. We're going to save that one for a rainy day next week. Yeah, there's a couple of good ones. But yeah, we got to get out of here. John Morton's coming down here in about 60 to 120 seconds.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, that happened quick. Oh, crap. We got to do this one real quick because I loved it. Polar Polish wants to know, what is a dumb rule you would want to add to the NFL? Mine is I hate freezing the kicker. I think it's a waste of time during an exciting moment. If you call a timeout and a field goal once both sides are set, it should be a delay of game penalty. Mine is just let the players celebrate however they want. Get rid of this, like, no bow and arrow stuff. Like, Buccaneers players getting flagged for celebrating for violent gestures while they're firing literal cannons off. Like, get out of here. Let these guys have fun.
I'm with that one. One I do not like is, I could be wrong. Yeah, they still do this? Yeah. I do not like the spot foul on the pass interference.
That's terrible. Oh, thank you. That's a logical one. I like that. Yeah, get rid of the spot foul. 15 yards. Get out of here. Especially with the way pass interference is called sometimes. That was a fun one. I wanted to get to that one this week just because it's fun. I'm about celebrations. Let it go within reason. I think it's too strict right now. I think the taunting rules are absolutely garbage. This is football. Yeah. It's a high adrenaline type game. And I think the NFL should chill on uniform restraints. Don't go full NBA, but find a happy medium, especially for a Lions team that's got so many cool looks. Like, I wish they could mix and match more. I wish there was more freedom to wearing your alternates and your throwbacks. That kind of stuff. That is it. We ran long today just based on the Lions schedule here today. There are so many questions I'm going to save and get to in some way. Thank you guys so much. Phil, we're going to get that timeline for a beat writer before the end of the season. Thank you. Send all those questions, voice memos, dungeonofdoom@mlive.com. Thank you guys. This was a great bounce back week. We're back in the swing of things with questions. Yeah. You guys rule. I'm Ben Raven. He's Kory Woods. We are your MLive Dungeon of Doom podcast.